Good evening, folks. Howard, how are you? Anybody else that's here, drop a comment, would say hello and where you at so we can give you a shout out. Chelsea Best Farm, Natty, what's going on? Garth, what's going on? Big up, welcome. Remember to share with folks that you think will benefit from our discussions. How it is in North Texas? What? Taking a break? You should go look on some goats while you're in Texas. Chelsea said, Jota kill him. Actually, I don't think we've had rain in quite a while in our part of the country. Wow. Yeah, we haven't had rain in maybe over a month. There's a period there where rainfall, maybe 2 months, maybe, a rainfall for like 3 days straight. And it hasn't since. Jason, big up. Um, let's uh, let's wait a little bit to get some more people on. Like, are we alone there? All four of us, or six of us. It's one of those evenings where everybody got on the road. But we're here. We're gonna do what we do. Um, I always say it, anytime we're gonna do a show that's has some real substance, nobody don't want to watch that. If me did, if the caption did say anything about the association or any pasa things and talk of people business, thing would have flooded already with people. But anytime it's of substance, anytime it's of real substance, nobody don't want to hear that. I know we want to talk about fat goat and them thing there. Yeah, yes, God. Anytime it's about mix up, anytime it's about, you know, the heat and talk of the things them, enough people there. They want to hear the mix up. But anytime I decide to talk about anything that uplift people and move people forward, the numbers are like, you know, the evidence right there. How much are we there? 6 are we? 5 people on, Trudy in the background, and myself make 7 people. Because the heading says how to make your goat operation a business. Nobody don't want to hear that. But if me mention Bernard name or the association or anything them I argue about in the different group them, everybody over here. Everybody will be here. But at the end of the day, it tells us who we're serious about doing goat business and not just having goats. You know what I mean? For us, from day one, we always tell people from day one, this is about business. This is about making it business. You know what I mean? So if you guys don't mind spreading the word, tell some people to come in and get some pointers. And what I'm about to talk about is just basically what we do to set up our operation and how it has worked for us and how I know it can work for everybody in here. Guys, it's just simple 1, 2, 3 things as the youth them say. 1, 2, 3, match it up. You know what I mean? It ain't rocket science when I ask people for jump over the moon and them things. We just tell people simple steps they need to do in order to treat their operation like a business. So I'm gonna go over a few things. So I guess I should just get into it. What do you think, Trudy? Yeah, let me just get into it. If the people am coming afterwards and so. But so here we are. For the people who are new here, I don't see no new people here, but just in the event somebody's here that it's the first time. This is iGoat Chat, and my name is Ray. In the background, you got Trudy. And this is our little family that we gather most Saturdays. Try to do it every Saturday, but sometimes life gets in the way. But we talk about everything and anything goats and small business, small farm business. So if if you're interested in that, then this is the right place to be. Tonight we're gonna talk about how to turn your make sure your goat operation is operating as a business, right? So number one thing everybody should do is register themselves or the put themselves as a business or register the operation as a business. As a in Jamaica, it's a limited cooperation (LTD), or you can register yourself operating as a business, and you will get the necessary documentation to say so. You know, whether it's a business TRN. Once you register, you get all that, and then you open an account, a bank account, a business account that you do all transactions that has to do with the business. You do all transactions through that account. So what you're starting to do is to build up a reputation as a business. You're developing a track record as a business. You're doing transactions that you can do tax returns as a business. It's not a personal thing, it's a business. So if you register yourself operating as a business, then it will say John Doe operating as a business. You know what I mean? And if you name your business, like how our business, Cabo Ranch Ventures Limited, our documentation will say that. TRN, TCC, which is a tax compliance certificate. You know, if you have employees, try to get them into NHD, register them as an employee, you pay NHD, NIS, all that. Get yourself in the system as a business. That way, money's going through your account as a business. That means the bank's going to look at you favorably because money is going in and out of your account as a business. in the event that you're trying to get funding for something, whether you're applying for the bank or you're applying for a grant or a loan, you set up and show that you have transactions as a business. That's the number one thing. If you want to treat it like a business, then register it as a business. Now, once you get that done, now you have a business. Now you are a business. Either way, right? When you're selling products, whether it's goods or byproducts from the farm or whatever it is, remember that the government requires you to have that receipt book. You have to get that receipt book. One, the idea of having the receipt book is for you to track your transactions and to prove that you're doing these things, that you're selling product, right? In the event a question is asked, you have a receipt book, you can prove last month you sell X amount of product, right? Agricultural product. You have to get that receipt book, register it rather, and get that book, that receipt book. It's the simple little things that makes you operate as a business. And that's one of them. It's part of keeping records, right? Now, I'm just talking about the basic things, right now, before I get into the other stuff. The basic things. Let's talk about the advantages of registering as a business or registering your business. To be tax compliant. That means you're in the system, you pay up your taxes. Farmers don't get taxed, hardly get taxed. So it's a 1, 2, 3. It's not hard. File your taxes, because if you're really operating as a business and you need the benefits that the government or any organization offer to business owners, you're going to need a tax compliance certificate. You're going to have to prove that you're operating as a business in order to benefit from any initiative or grants or loan that is targeting people in agriculture. That's a benefit. That's a plus, an advantage, right? So we've had shows before where people come on and tell us how to register business, how to set up bank account. So I'm not going to rehash that. Well, unless it's in demand, we'll do a whole show again about it. But tonight, we just want to go over the basic things that people can do to register their business and operate as a business. Now, as I said, the advantages, they're vast, right? You can't benefit from any initiative or any offering from any of these agencies or government entities if you're not operating as a business. That's one of the number one thing they ask for. TCC especially. TRN, TCC. Tax compliance certificate. You have to be in compliance with your taxes. So get those things straight. Now, once those things are straight, you have your receipt book, you're operating where you sell something, whether you sell it and people deposit the money in the account, or if you get the cash, try to get the cash to the bank. We're not very good at going to the bank because the line too long. So we try to implore people to do direct deposit. We always try to get them to do direct deposit, but people will show up with their money. But the objective is to have transactions in your account, money going in, money coming out. It's not, the objective is not to have a lot of money in the account. The objective is to show that you're doing business, Money going in, money coming out. Money going in, money coming out. And you got the receipts to prove where the money is coming from that's going in. Right? So now you're operating as a business. Another advantage is all these expenses for the business, you can file them as expenses. There's a lot of expenses running a farm. And when you do your taxes, you can file them. People that say government are gonna take your money, government are gonna this. No. If you there's thresholds where people have to pay taxes after a certain threshold. I think it's like 30 million or something. I don't know exactly what the number is, but a lot of farmers don't get to that point. A lot of small farmers don't get there. If you get there, you should pay your share of the taxes because you're doing good. You're doing all right. But however, if you are doing business and you're doing okay, then and you're doing proper record keeping and accounting, then a lot of expenses will lower your profit margin because you're filing. It's not about how much money you take in. Like the misconception, they were about the thing we joke about me, and she's like, man, them always I say, them I make money, them I make money. Enough people we talk to, people, friends that, man, I do furniture thing, or I do this, or I do that. And I say, yo, how it go? Yeah, man, I make money, man, I make money. But they never factor in their time, and they never factor in what it costs them to make the product and to sell the product. So in business, there's a cost to getting the product to market. There is a cost to customer acquisition, which is if you're doing marketing, you're spending money to get people to know you're there for them to buy what you have. And that's a customer acquisition cost. So when you're up on a certain level doing business and people are doing advertising, that's what the conversation is about. What is the cost to acquire a customer? Am I getting a bang for the buck when I advertise, right? So let's take that away because we're not do that right now. But feed costs, medication cost, labor cost, equipment cost, all that. It's expenses, fuel cost. There is allocation for transportation. If you're using your own transportation as part of the business, there's allocation for that. How much a percentage you write out, you put in as expense. So then when you file, you may make revenue coming in may seem a lot. But when you subtract the expenses, you realize, oh, I'm not even close to that threshold where the government is going to say, yo, you need to give me your money. You're not close to the threshold the government's going to ask you to pay taxes when you back out all the expenses. And that's what it's about. That's why the really successful people them always find loophole not to pay taxes, because there's always a loophole or a tax clause or something to let people write off certain expenses or lower their tax bracket. Because the more money you make, the higher the tax bracket go up, like you pay higher percentage. So the idea for most business people is to keep them at a certain tax bracket so their tax burden is less. So the same principle applies whether you're running a small business or a big business. You have to take account for your expenses. And it's an advantage for you. So what that really means in reality is equipment, supplies, and them things are actual expenses that you can recoup if your business is successful, or a percentage of it. right? And then there is the fact that certain equipment may, what they call it, what they call it, depreciate, and you can factor that in your filing also, right? So it's a complex thing. That's why the big man them always have good accountant, because it's the accounting part is complex, but the principle of keeping track of your expenses and and your income is important. It's really important as a if you're running a business, right? And then it tells you if you're on a hamster wheel or you're actually making progress. You know what I mean? For us, every year we painstakingly, well, Trudy does most of the work, to be honest. Trudy does most of the work when it comes to that. Go through and figure out where we are. Are we making progress? Are we going backwards? Knock on real wood, this is real wood. We've been making progress. I like Trudy. If I like, man, tell the people in the comments. We've been making progress, which is really what keep us going, because we've seen the progress. And not only seen the progress, we have seen where we have been able to analyze things and tell and we be able to pinpoint what stops us from making more progress. We'll be able to pinpoint things that come up during the fiscal year that stop us from making more progress. You know, so for us, we know how important it is to keep track of everything, or try to keep track of everything. You know what I mean? Because not only does it help you figure out if you're on the right track, but the benefit of doing proper tax filing, so you're in the system as a healthy contributor to society or to the GDP. Let's put it this way: GDP, right? You're a healthy supplier or contributor to the economy. So no man can talk to you about anything when it comes to them something, because you're a registered company, you're paying your taxes, you're filing, you're you can go pull a TCC anytime. That means you're a healthy business person in society. Your business is healthy. You know, you have the ability to apply for whatever and have a real shot of getting it, because you're in compliance. So those are the benefits of, one, registering; two, being tax compliant; having a bank account, a business bank account that you're doing business through. Now, let's talk about the actual business itself. How do you make that business work? What is the objective? What you got to figure out what your objective is. And don't get me wrong, because that's not that easy. Well, to figure out what your objective is easy. You can say, yo, of course, I want to do XYZ. How do you get to XYZ is another story. Let me give you an example. There's two people decide, say, one out of the two say, yo, I like doing this. I want to, and the other one say, yeah, man, we can do it. Well, start with one thing and get to one supply, right? We're talking about Cabo Ranch. And we try to come do it, and we listen to people, the experts and the people that have experience. And what we really want to do, we listen to them and didn't listen to our gut, didn't listen to what brought us to the table in the first place. So then it start taking us longer to realize why we're in it, to get to where we want to be. So we have to make the tough decision to say, yo, you know what, let's just bite the bullet and do what we got to do to get to where we want to be. Because the advices we got, it's not that they were wrong. It's just that they don't factor in time. They don't factor in that time is money. And we can't waste time doing the breeding up thing. It's a crapshoot. It's a gamble that we're not willing to take. We've tried it and it didn't work. After we tried it 2 years doing it and realized, nah, this isn't the right thing. It's the energy, the time, the resources we're putting in, the return from it wasn't making sense. And it wasn't because the effort wasn't there. It's because we are trying to squeeze orange juice out of lime. You know what I mean? We are try some little lime for give you the same amount of juice or orange I'll give you like, yo, that not gonna work. You know what I mean? So we had to do what we had to do. So point I'm trying to make is stick to your gut. Figure out what your objective is and stick to your gut. Do the necessary steps to get to your objective. Don't be influenced by other people ideas, other people's thought process, because they don't really understand what your objective is. They say they do, but they don't really get it. And I'm telling you guys the truth, they don't get it. For if you're really doing business and really trying to do it the right way, I'm not telling you to breed up animals to get the way you want. It's not gonna work. Stay so truly that's what it says. Stay focused on what you're in it for. Yeah, here's Mr. Henry. Big point. Do not be scared of change. If you see that you're heading down the wrong direction, don't be scared to change. Don't be scared to take the next road. Don't be scared to shift. Shift focus, shift objective, change the thing up if you realize it's not working for you. That's what Cabra Ranch did. We could have keep going, buy two, go to them says milk goat and this and that. But after we do the analysis, we realize, nah, take we too long. Definitely would take us too long. 5 years we don't have to waste. And after talking to some real scientists and people who've been doing it for a long time, the breed of thing is a gamble. Because you could get a whole crop, a whole season of kids that have a recess gene that no milk. And that set you back. Because you don't know what's in the bloodline coming up. And people hear me sure not understand that. Sure not understand that. So stick to your gut. Stay focused on what you want to do. Don't be scared to shift if you realize you're not going on the right path. Now, the whole idea of staying focused and do what you want to, what you're in it for. So you're in it for meat. You have to have a plan of how you're gonna get to the point where you're supplying meat on a regular basis. Regular could mean weekly. Regular could mean monthly. Depends on your customer base. one of the biggest issue I see with people who say they want to get into meat is understanding that if you have a customer that you get to supply meat to, these people are gonna want meat maybe twice a month, or every week, or once a month, a certain pound of meat once a month, whatever it is. So let's say it's 1,000 pound of meat you have to deliver. Think about how many goats you have to have, the number of goats you have to be able to supply that every month. Remember, I say, yo, we can go buy them, we can. No. Because once you go buy them, you lose your profit. If you have to buy it from John for come fatten pan your farm, whatever, you lose your profit. And I know that for a fact. Nutrimix a couple of years ago launched their fattening program where they go buy buckling some people and fatten them up and sell them. Now, I haven't heard much of it lately, but the reason that hasn't taken off or people that get attracted to it is because the price that Nutrimix have to buy the goat from any farmer has to be 25, 30,000, 35,000, whatever it is down there in order for it to make sense for them. When that CM goat, a man can sell it for 50,000 or 60,000 because everything now a stud. You know what I mean? Graded stud, everything a stud. So in order for you as an operator that's into meat, you have to grow your own for you to really reap the benefit. You have to grow your own. Now, how many animals you're gonna need to make it work? Think about the man that will grow chicken. The man that will really do chicken, they talk about thousands of chicken. A chicken, one of those big chicken things, have 5,000, 10,000 chicken in it. Those are the numbers because in order for them to have a regular supply of chicken to them customer base, them have to have thousands. Now, the good thing, you may have to have hundreds of goat in order to have a regular supply. Then we said 3,000, 4,000. I don't know if he's talking about chicken or goat. Right? Now, even if you have a one customer that you're going to supply 200 pound of meat to for the month, that means you're going to have 4 or 5 goat, maybe 6 goat for process in order to deliver that 200 pound of meat, not goat, 200 pound of carcass meat, right? And if they say that's every month, think about your production system that you need to have in order to deliver 6 goat, to process 6 goat every month. Right? And if say 4 goat, I don't know about that. 4 goat to get 200 pound of meat, I don't know about that. We're talking about good meat, goat that's less than a year. So if you process a goat that's less than a year, you're looking about 80, 90 pounds. Graded animal, because nobody now process full blood boar. So you'll get 50%. Let's say you get 50% if you're lucky. 50% of that live weight. So you need more than 4 goats to get the 200 pounds. But anyways, let's talk about the system you have to put in place in order to have a consistent supply. And this is where I'm talking about treating your operation like a business. Putting in a system so you can have regular supply of your product. So if you're in meat, what kind of production system or your breeding is doing? How often are you breeding? You have to put all of that in place. So you know that every month you're going to have X amount of animal to process. And it's like we've done it. And it's not easy. I can tell you from experience, you can't afford to miss a breeding session, a breeding period. We have learned that the hard way. It's cost us dearly for missing a breeding period. It costs us on having animals to sell. It costs us on milk production. See, Mr. Henry say 6 goats every week. That's 24 goats per month for that one customer. That's 288 goats for that one client alone. So when people are talking about the meat thing, the reality means numbers, real numbers. We talk about Damien Crawford. The reason Damien built 2 massive goat houses is because he knows in order for him to do what he says he wants to do, he has to have the numbers. He has to be able to deliver and process X amount of animals every week or every 2 weeks or whatever he does. And not only that means really that the same amount of time that you're processing, all that, you have to be breeding because you got to create replacements. So you got to have a system in place to know, say, yo, just like the chicken thing, the man them restock with young chicks every 6 weeks or every whatever they do it. It's the same process. And that means breeding, kidding, weaning, fattening, processing. And the cycle continues. What is the time period for that cycle? That's what I'm talking about when I talk about treating it like a business. Let me answer this question. All right, it says, so Ray, are you saying it makes no sense we go into meat? That's not what I am saying. What I am saying is the reality is it takes numbers to have a real meat production facility or operation. And you need the numbers. And I'm talking about real, I'm not talking about 50 goat, 100 goat. I'm talking about hundreds, if not thousands of goat. Depends on how large you want to go and what your customer base require. I'm just keeping it real. And the numbers don't lie. The numbers don't lie. No, anybody can challenge me upon that, and they will lose. The numbers don't lie. Now, Mr. Henry is getting ahead of me all the time, but I like that. The best approach for the meat thing is create a co-op, a group of farmers that are serious, that are like-minded, that think the same way, that has the same objectives, to come together and say, look, we're going to have an objective as a group of delivering X amount, X pound of meat a month. And people got to commit to it, and you got to help each other get there. You got to help each other with the numbers, help each other with the process, with the program, their production program, everything. You got to help each other. So that way, as a group, then you can start taking on clients, taking on customers, because as a group, you know that you can deliver it. If you're trying to do it by yourself, then you got to get the numbers. And you got to remember, numbers mean space. Numbers mean resources. Numbers mean labor, staff. That's what it really means. A lot of good farmers don't have the space. It's just the reality of what we're dealing with. How many good farmers between us right here, how many good farmers you know that depend 50 acres, 100 acres, or even 25 acres? It's not a lot of us. We're not. You know what I mean? So we have to work within what we have and figure out, okay, I have 10 acres, that man have 10 acres, that man have 10 acres, that man have 15. We come together and have one objective, and we pool our resources and say, okay, we're going to help each other get there. You know what I mean? If it means that you build an abattoir or a processing place on one farm, and every 2 weeks you bring the animals there and you do what you got to do in order to meet the demand, in order to fulfill your orders, that's what you got to do. See, Mr. Henry have it down pat right there, centralized approach. John have 100, Mark have 100, David have 100, so on and so on. Now you have 1,000 breeding females. There you go. And you pool it and have a system. Everybody got to work within that same system, so you know the objectives can be met. One man can do film thing over here, so the next man will do a different thing. And that, you know what I mean? Got to work together. Everybody got to have the same objective. Got to come up with a feeding program. You purchase resources as a group. You purchase feed as a group. All that to make it work. That's the only way I see it working. There are going to be big players. As if everybody was at their social meeting, you hear the minister talk and you hear the permanent secretary talk. They are inviting big players into the sector. People that's going to put in crazy money to get the objective, which means there's going to be a lot more animals being imported, because there's nowhere in Jamaica you can go buy 100 goat one time right now. So there's going to be a lot more importation based on what these guys are saying. If they're inviting these big players, these people who have major resources to come into the sector, then these animals got to come from somewhere. So as They have talked about clusters and this and that, but I'm not talking about clusters. And I'm sure Mr. Henry not talking about clusters. I'm talking about an organized co-op that has one objective. It's to pool their resources and meet a demand. That's what I'm talking about. So I'm going off on this whole thing, but back to treating your operation as a business. You have to put in processes in order for it to be effective, in order for you to meet your objectives. Like what we do on Cabo Ranch with selective breeding, group breeding, weaning at a certain time, everything in place because of one objective. We want access to the milk. Sinus is killing me because of allergies. We want access to the milk. So we have to put in pro systems, do things accordingly because we have to have consistent supply of milk. We gotta have females in milk all year round. And I said before, we've suffered from missing a breeding period. We're closer to the end of the year, we're down to a little bit of milk because we didn't have enough mothers in the system. Judy can attest to it because we missed a breeding period. Can't afford to. Whatever you have to do, it's like an assembly line. If you can't shut down the assembly line for a day, you're gonna miss a whole day of supply, mean that there's gonna be a shortage in the pipeline. And you can't afford for that to happen. It's the same way. You gotta meet your objectives. You gotta fly high, fly low, you gotta meet it. You gotta find a way to do it. So that's why you gotta put in systems in place. Things that trigger things. You know what I mean? Like I explain to people all the time on Cabo Ranch, it's a rotation system. Once that weaner lounge is empty, kids should be coming in to that weaner lounge in short order. That weaner lounge shouldn't be empty for 2 months. No. That weaner lounge needs to be empty a month the most. There should be kids in the house waiting, ready, almost ready to come down to the weaner's lounge. And that should be happening every 2 to 3 months. It's a cycle. It has to be like that. There's no other way, or else we'll be in trouble. Mind you, it also applies pressure on moving out the kids them out of the weaner's lounge one way or the other. But that's the business. That's how the business work. The pressure is on us as the operators to execute in order for the business to work. You know, Winners Lounge full of kids and kids upstairs in the house, and they're getting to 2 months and the Winners Lounge have a whole heap of kids in there. Not a good look. Start getting side-eye looks from Trudy. I say, yo, these kids gotta go. Like, you know what I mean? Start calling some people, post them, do what you gotta do. They gotta go. Because we end up with a bottleneck system that we don't want. And then we can't overextend ourselves like what happened last year or the year before. Breed up too much mothers, nowhere to put them, place full to the tilt, and is that the right word? I don't know. But we end up in that position also where we overextend ourselves and then had to stop, had to draw the bricks, drawing that brick, putting that brick, foot like press it brake hard and stop, cost us because when we should have been breeding, we stopped to free up space to ease the pressure, and then it ended up costing us. So what I am saying is treat it like a business, like any other business. A man will make bread, I have to make bread. Doesn't matter what I go on. I have to make bread for full of them truck there, for them truck that hit the road, for deliver to everybody. It have to happen, right? So it's the same way, whether you're in meat, milk, or whatever, put systems in place so you can have a consistent supply, right? You can have a consistent supply of your product. If you're just selling fatteners, wieners, you don't want 6 months to go by, 4 or 5 months to go by, and you don't have product. You don't have wieners to sell. It's not good. Because you got to remember, those animals that's there still got to eat. People still got to take care of them. So you want to have the ability to be selling X amount of product on a regular basis. So you come up with a system that will make that work. And that's how you turn your operation into a business. That's how you run it like a business. Production schedule, Mr. Makuk, yeah. Everything gotta happen at a certain time. Everything gotta happen, you know, on schedule. I'm not saying it has to be like a clock, but you have to be mindful of it. You gotta be mindful of it. Miss a week or whatever, it's fine. But you can't just leave it to fate. You can't just sit and say, boy, let them go to come into heat and wait till them come into heat and then put them out of it. No. If you know that you need, like for us, talk about our operation. We know, say, yo, our objective is to have 15 to 20 mothers pregnant. Yeah. Group them at that first of the month or whenever it is, group them, put them with a buck, 45 days. Pregnancy test after that, we don't know what we got. Or seeder them, sink them, we know exactly what we're getting. Yeah, it's that simple. Just lay it out. Write it on a piece of paper. Put it on your calendar and plan it out. And you just keep doing it. And what that does for you, it makes your operation a well-oiled machine because everything becomes a cycle. You know that every 2 months or every 3 months you're gonna have kids. So you just know you have to replenish kidding supplies. You gotta do this every 3 months. It's not, oh man, kidding I come 6 months down the road or whatever, you forget so you not have iodine or you forget so you not have what. No. You know that every 3 months you're replenishing your stock because of every 3 months kids are hitting the ground. And it makes your business run better. Set your mind at ease. Gigi asked, do you find the pregnancy test to be accurate? We've never had a problem, for the most part, with the pregnancy tests that have been done on our farm. We've had false negatives, and then goat end up having kid in the field, or yeah. But the accuracy, I can say, for pregnancy tests for us is usually high. But then again, they're testing animals that were grouped. They're testing animals that were grouped, and we're not doing tests early. We're doing tests after they've been exposed, and they're like, if the buck's with them for 4 to 5 days, and then we test another 30 days after the 45 days end. So we usually get, high percentage of accuracy on that. The objective is to treat it like a business. Like if a person is running a vegetable or greens thing, you have to keep planting callaloo or whatever in order to have a consistent supply of callaloo throughout this callaloo season. You can't just plant one big field and done. When that ready and him do it, it gone. So I'm saying, so it's the same approach here. One thing that I know, I mean, people, we should be past the stage of talking about how to fatten goat and how to this goat and that and whatever. No, we need to have real conversations about how do we really make it a business? How do we generate revenue on a consistent basis? How do we help each other come up with systems, putting in protocols and programs in our operation that make it consistent, make sure that we have product on a consistent basis. That's what the conversation should be about these days. Because if we don't pivot and get to that stage, we'll forever be talking about fatten up goat or goat fat or we treat goat or we give goat deworm and all them something. No, man, we're past that. There's gonna be new people that comes in that needs to be educated all the time. But we got veterans in the business having this debate. Why? Why aren't we talking about the business of goat? Why aren't we talking about the business side of it? How do we turn it into a business? What are the systems we need to put in place on your operation to make sure it's running like a business? You know what I mean? Now, let's pivot to you put the systems in place and it's running. It's over a year, you realize, say, yes, every 3 months, I get X amount of kids, every 3 months, whatever. Now, the next step is to, in the words of Trudy, tell people what you do. Tell people what you got. Show people what you're doing so they will be inclined to support. People that are getting to it on Facebook, them a post, go out all the time for sale. But that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm really talking about is setting yourself apart, giving the public or people who will support you, give them a window into what you do, how you do what you do. That way they feel involved and they will support. It's a tried test theory that people will support you if them feel like them is a part of your thing. They will support you. Come up with marketing, not just, oh, goat is rehoming and this and that. No. Mr. Henry, I'm going to get to it. I am getting to it. I'm getting to it. I'm getting to it. So anyway, I'm gonna talk about the real cost. I'm getting to it. Yes, the marketing part of it, in order to not create a bottleneck on your farm. Because I know people are thinking, yeah, you put the system in place and then they go them sit down upon you or whatever. No, put come up with a marketing plan of how you're gonna market these animals so they can get out. Now, the marketing plan, like people, everybody just sell on Facebook for the most part, but there are other ways. You know what I mean? King Curry does a good job of it, of keeping in touch with clients he's had. You know what I mean? Telling people about his business, have transparency with his business. He does a great job, right? So you have to develop a similar approach, because once people feel involved, they will support, right? And it's not about telling people you're selling an animal. It's about showing people that you're doing something and you're passionate about it and you're doing a good job at it. I'll tell you, that's what Carber Ranch does. I don't really tell people I have goat for sale. I just tell people that I'm happy with them winners over there. Like you go back and see my post, I'll say, yeah, winners launched restock and I like what I see. And I'll use the animals as posts in social media to talk about different things. But I'm actually presenting the animal. I'm actually showcasing the animal. I'm actually showcasing what we do. I'm showcasing our processes, our operation. I'm showcasing what Carbon Ranch is. At the same time, maybe giving a word of advice or give thanks and praises to the Most High or whatever I'm doing in the text is separate from what is happening visually. What is happening visually is I'm showing people that what we're doing, we're passionate about it, and we do a good job at it. It's the same approach. You don't have to tell people, come buy this goat for sale. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room, as Mr. Henry said. Mr. Henry said, I think the big elephant in the room is being honest with the true cost of operation. Putting a proper system in place, the cost of that, it costs to implement and it costs to maintain and scale. Exactly. Now, as I said earlier, record keeping records of your revenue, your expenses. Now, not all of us are numbers people that can dissect and let you know what the production cost or unit cost is for each animal, but we can seek help. There's people within our community that are willing to help us figure that out. Most animals that are sold, that I see being sold, are the profit margin is basically 200 or 100% on these animals. Factually. Nothing's wrong with that. You know what I mean? Nothing is wrong with that because it's what the market can bear. But when it gets to the 200 and 300%, it's a problem because then you're hurting the sector. But back to the original question is there's an easy way to figure out your production cost. Number of animals, okay, revenue versus expenses and divided by the number of animals. No, the revenue divided by the number of animals. It's a basic way. Expenses, I meant, not revenue. Expenses. So whatever it costs you to run the whole thing, you divide it by the number of animals you have. Whether it's feed costs, labor costs, water costs, electricity costs, all that, add it up and divide it by the number of animals. Am I wrong? Peter, that's the basic way, right? There's more complex way that like man like Peter use, but you have to dip on Peter level, right? It's basically all your expenses and you spread it across the number of animals you have, right? But there's more complex way to do it. But that's the basic way to have an idea of what it costs you to have each animal on the farm. Now, it Mr. Henry is saying it would be good to break it down micro, but you really don't have to look at the bulk cost. But the point I really want you to touch is in figure out the true cost of your objective and get the proper funding to achieve it. That's a whole different conversation. Really. Okay. So Mr. Henry's getting that. I'll get into that, but that's a whole different show. Right? But the objective is to figure out what it costs. For us, we try to figure out what it costs us per animal each day, right? How much it costs us to take care of each animal. So then, like a weaner, what does it cost from birth to market? What that number is. So at one point, last time we did this, it was $250 or something per day. So then we know if we keep those animals on the farm for 60 days or 60 days would be 3 months. No, 2 months. 90 days, 3 months. Then we can tell you, we can know within ourselves what that cost is. So let's do the number now for $250 times 90. That's 22,500. Right? If the animal stay on the farm for 4 months, right? That's 120 days times 250. That's 30,000. Now, if I sell that animal for $60,000, it's 100% profit. I got it, Virgin. It's right here. My youth. There. So these numbers that you're seeing, animals are being sold for. One day if you take the time to break it down yourself. And as I said, there's nothing wrong with the 100% profit. You know what I mean? Everybody does that. But when you start getting to the 150, 200% profit, then it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt the sector. It is hurting the sector. And nobody can challenge me and tell me, say, a goat on them farm cost them $500 a day. If a goat is costing you $500 a day, you do the wrong thing. That is a fact. Because the objective is to keep your inputs down. Keep the cost of your inputs low. So if your animal is costing you $500 a day, you're doing the wrong thing. I know some I crush some people too right now. Some people are gonna disagree with me and some people are going to be vexed. But I'm only sharing this information because it's for the best. It's to better the sector. It's not about greed. It's about how do we better the sector. That's all I'm saying. That's the point I'm trying to make. Lincoln, which wool you come from under? Which 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 rocks man they pull Lincoln? Or in there Jamaicans man they pull him out I go to house and tell him say me die me aunt. Big up my brethren. Always have to big up the King Curry. But the numbers don't lie, according to Lincoln. No, the numbers don't lie. And as I said, I have no problem with a man making 100% profit on him thing. You know what I mean? Apple and them people do it all the time. You know what I mean? But when it gets to the 150, 200%, then I figure it's being greedy and it's not helping us. Because everybody is gonna wanna go to that number, whether the animal is worth it or not. Now, if you're running a business, you can just let's say you're in a shop, you run a shop. You can't just decide tomorrow say, yo, you know what, I'm gonna change the price of rice, you know. I'm gonna sell rice for all, you know, $1,000 a pound or something. You know how much pound for rice now? That I'm gonna sell it for. And then the man down the road here say, you are selling it for $1,000 a pound, so he decides he must sell it for $1,000 a pound too. How does that affect everybody else? But if you're running a real business, if the rest of people them say, yo, man, nah, do that, you know, then your rice sit down by you. But is the objective is to turn the product over so you can get your profit off of it. You want to make sure that the product goes. You want to make sure the product goes through the door. So you can collect your profit margin. You're not gonna be losing money. You're actually gonna be making more money because it's costing you less to keep the product there. If the product is gone, you don't have to feed it. You don't have to pay for take care of it. That's why I may get the side eye when they go them sit down in the winner lounge too long. Because we have to take care of them, we have to feed them. But if they're not there, less feed, less worry, less labor, and so on and so forth. It's just the way it goes. It's the way to run your business. You don't need to sit down on the product. You just need to make sure you get the acceptable profit margin that makes sense for you. It's not about killing the people. It's not about getting the most you can get. It's about getting an acceptable profit margin so you can move forward. And everybody in here know that me not, what me I say are true. Everybody in here knows that true. Howard said the buyers need to walk away from some of these ridiculous prices. May they go them turn wife and the farmers were charged too much. It's true. I don't know what you know what? Allergies. I think people who are into goat, they're so obsessed or fascinated with goats that once them like a goat, them not leave it. Them will pay whatever them need for pay for it. And I see it with my own two eye. It's a unbelievable. When a man willing to say, yo, me I gotta pay down on a $400,000 goat. And him is not a established breeder. Him don't know nothing about genetics and breed and them thing the goat does. Him just say, yo, me I gotta have the goat that nobody else not gonna have. That make no sense. Lincoln say, it's cheaper for me to buy a house in Ochi than to set up my goat farm. It's not good for the sector. Cost me less to buy a 4-bedroom house in New Jersey than what it cost me to set up the goat business. See? It ain't cheap. If you want to do it the right way. If you want to do it the right way, it costs money. And cash flow is king. The ability to pay your bills, pay your workers, buy feed is king. You can't want to recoup everything off one kidding season. You have to project and say, yo, I sell X amount over the year, profit margin is X amount, I can do this. This is comfortable. You can't want to make back everything one time. Not to want to say from a business standpoint, does it make sense? It makes sense if you treat it as a business. It make a lot of sense if you treat it as a business. Why you think they're pitching it to all these people with major resources? Because those people with major resources are gonna treat it like a business. They're not gonna treat it like it's a hobby and fall in love with goat. The man ain't don't even not gonna visit the goat farm. Get what I'm saying? They are gonna treat it as a business as we small farmers should. Treat it as a business. Another thing, Mr. say, yeah, pay yourself. Factor in your time. If you are spending time taking care of animals and working on the farm, factor in your time. That's why I say I have no problem with the 100% profit, because that 100% profit have to split up and do many things. When it start getting way above that, then it's a problem. Not to say Chelsea Best Farm said, so just close my eyes and buy goats at any price, even though you treat it as a business. No, that's not what I'm saying. Be selective in how you acquire your animals. Be realistic. Be deal with people who fully understand. Trust me, everybody in here have experience with overpriced animals and getting ripped off or animal not turn out to what them say it is. We've all had the experience. But we also got to be realistic in what the goals we set, the objectives we set, and what we can achieve out of what resources we have. We have to be realistic. Back to the meat thing. We can't be talking about meat and we have 50 goat. How you plan to get there? How long is gonna take you to get there? Gigi says, how do you think these new investors are going to impact the market and pricing? If they focus on numbers, will surely lower the cost of meat and live animals. Farmers need to be mindful. The big players are coming in from meat. There's a few that may go into genetics, but most of them are coming into meat. It will not affect you and me and everybody else around in here, because they're going to be supplying Jamaica with meat. And we all know we can't have enough. We don't have enough meat to supply Jamaica demand. So it will not affect us. None of us is selling to a supermarket. So the big player will come in and decide say him can sell meat to Price Smart or sell meat to Progressive or whatever. Like seriously. Any of us in here can say that? No. So don't be worried about them coming in. We should be excited that they're coming in. We should be really excited that they're coming in, because then it sheds some light on what we're doing. You got to remember, anywhere the money is, that's where the government are going to look, Anywhere the money there. If the big man them say, yo, we're going to spend money over this, the government are going to look. It's just that simple. But in order for you to benefit, you got to get your house in order. You got to be in the system. You have to be a running business. You have to set up and run as a business in order to benefit. Whatever is coming, if it comes, you're in a position to benefit. In order for us to move from a sector to a industry, we have to start operating as businesses. And we have to be bold about it. Like I always tell people when they come to, this is not your grandfather's farm. Don't come here expecting no little thing. This is a real business. We're operating as a real business. There's protocols. There's operation systems in place. We don't take visitors in the mornings because of the day-to-day operations cannot be interrupted. We can't afford to interrupt the morning routine. If you show up in the morning to visit, you have to wait. You have to wait. Unless you book an appointment to come and see the morning routine. That's a different story. But you can't just show up and say, boy, I'm going to come check out what I go on. No, you're going to have to wait, because we're not pulling staff or nobody for the morning routine, because that will set us back. We're running a business. We can't just stop. There's too much going on. You know what I mean? Milk has to be on cooler at a certain time. Animals need to be out in the pasture by a certain time. The clock is ticking. We're treating it as a business. So if all of us collectively take that approach, then the sector will be much better off. People will meeting their goals, meeting their objectives. And everybody will start seeing the benefit. As a group, we can be, as Mr. Henry said, create a co-op, because you have to where every man registered. You name the co-op, everybody is tax compliant. There's no issues there. If the co-op need to apply for a loan or a grant to build a facility to process a meat or whatever, everybody's in tax compliant. Everybody's good, because we're running a business All right, so let's continue this next week. No, we can have this conversation as often as you guys like, because our objective is to tell people what the benefits are and how to move the needle forward. Not the same old stuff. No. We're not we're not going back down that road of repeating the same old stuff. Now we're moving to the point where people need to just treat it like a business, operate like a business. Hi Julie, how are you? That's the objective. That's what it's about. And keep in mind, I can't keep this to myself. Who could I do this? I say, yo, whatever, man. But one, that's selfish. Two, how is that gonna help the sector? I need everybody to be thinking as one accord. I want people to see that there's power in the goat sector. Economic power, I'm talking about. That's that's my objective. We share as much as we can share based on our experience, based on what we have done and what we have experienced doing it. And this topic is important to us because we've seen where if we didn't treat what we're doing as a business, then we couldn't jump through some jump over some hurdles and go through some doors that we were able to go through in order to do what we do. If we weren't treating Cabo Ranch as a business, we couldn't import the animals because we had to be tax compliant. We had to be a registered company. They don't tell you these things, do they? They don't tell you. Them just think you can just go on. Them tell you say you can go any man. Why you think they're telling you to go to them to do it? They're not telling you to get your business in order so you can do it. Them I say, no, come to us and we'll do it for you. Not go so. Well, it shouldn't be that way. It should be empowerment. It should be telling people, yo, this is what you need to do it. You know, I'm telling you, this is what you need to do what we do, what we did. This is what you need to do. If you need help, we're here to help. But I'm not going to say, yo, come to me, man. Make no worry about it. Come to me and we can get it done for you. And charge you a little thing. No, man. I want people to be empowered. I want the sector, everybody to have a level playing field and say, yo, if me need a system, I know who to call, but I'm going to really tell me the steps, I'm going to go through the steps. Because we didn't know all the steps. We had to call people too. But the advantage was when them say you have this, yes. Are you this? Yes. We're going to need XYZ. Here you go. We're going to need to see your business registration. Here you go. We need your business TRN. Here you go. Oh, you're going to have to give me an updated TCC. Boom, 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 boom. Can we get that updated TCC? Yeah, here you go. That's what I need for everybody to be able to answer the question and provide the proper documentation. You go to a bank, and one in a bank I say, yo, you want to buy a piece of equipment or whatever, I may need $1 million loan or $500,000 loan. Okay, can you get a bank statement? Or can you get a financial statement? Yeah, man, good, boom, here you go. Because you have a business account that you've been doing business through for the year. And they can see that over the year, you push through $5 million to the account. I'm not saying you have $500 million. I'm saying $500 million go through, whether in or out. That's what they're looking at. You know what I mean? I'm saying, we say, yeah, means you're paying attention to your business. That's what I'm talking about. Empowerment. Teach people how to get it done. That's all I'm saying. I don't know what 500 million truly I thought about. Did I say 500 million or 500,000? I said 500 million. See, that's what my head there. That's what I'm talking. That's what my head there. My head I talk about big money. My head there on big money. Me see it already. Me see it already. 10 products on the market. Me see it. Cabra Ranch, little thing up on the back and everything with that, you know what I mean? We never do them all ourselves. We can just partner with some people. Man, I say, yo, more, just me take all the manure you can get, you can provide. I'm gonna put the manure up on the market. I say, yeah, just give me 30% on all it every day. And give me 20% or 30% how it. And you put my little logo at the bottom, Cabra Ranch, good shit. That's what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? yo, I'm dead serious. That's what I'm talking about. You don't have to do it all yourself. You want a little piece of a bunch of things, and it's just business. So that's what I'm talking about, guys. That's what tonight is about. Treating your operation as a business. And how do you do it? Those are the basic principle of doing it. See? I not forget. Oh, I didn't forget. Caca de Cabra. Yep. I think we need to register that. Where said Judy? No, no, I did not say that. All right, I did not say that. I don't know. People are hearing things. This is what I said. This is what I said. Okay, so any questions? I realized that me I ran for an hour and a half. See, yeah, one by one, we're getting people to understand. See, Dane says, see with my boss, some farmers want to get big, but don't do the right things. Exactly. You know what I mean? People don't understand what it really means. And I'm trying to get people to understand that it is important. These things are important if and only if you take it serious. Which bank work with the farmers? Truly, what's the name of that bank manager or bank guy we had on that give farmers small loans? And the Jamaica Development Bank has a bunch of things that target agricultural projects. But you can't approach them if you're not operating as a business. You cannot approach these people if you're not operating as a business. If you can't show them transactions, they're not interested. You got to be able to show them that you're serious, that you're doing business, you're tax compliant, you know, you're generating revenue, you're paying your bills, everything. You got to be able to show them that. I don't remember the name of the bank. There's some small bank that service farmers, and they offer small loans. And we've been bringing on these people all the time. We had an NCB guy on. We had the guy from this other bank on. We had the woman from the tax office on. Yeah, we've been preaching this for a while. But every now and then, like my spirit tip me and say, yo, you need to, yeah, PCB Bank. That's the bank. Think it's peace. Yeah. We been telling people, and every once in a while, I have to come back and talk about it again. Okay, so here's a question. Good evening, man. How a small man get all these things? There is no small man, bro. Let's get that out of our head. No small man. So man, just a man or woman, a person. How do you get these things? One, if you do it yourself, registering your business, it may take you a little longer because you don't know the ropes. But there's a website that you can go to and start the process. There's a registering the name. What's the name of that the company register? There's company's office. You can go to register your name, and then you can register your business, right? And if you want to do it yourself, it may take longer because there's certain legal things you have to navigate. But the easiest way is to hire somebody. There's a company that is streamlining this process. I gotta find this company and get them on. That is streamlining this process of getting people company registration, get them license, get them this TCC, all that stuff. There's a company that's streamlining it. I gotta get them on and talk to them about it. But there is ways to get it done. That's not hard. That's my point. It is not hard. It is not hard to do it. If you're resourceful, I'm pretty sure you'll be able to find a YouTube thing that tells you exactly how to do it. It's not hard. And once you register your name and register the business, once you register the business, you will get, pardon me, you will get your first TCC and your TRN for the business. And right away, you take that and go open a bank, a business account. See, that's what this family is about. Everybody, there's people in here who know these things. I'm willing to share. See, Mr. Henry post it. Click on that link right away. Click on the link right away and save it. Don't make the link go away. But it's not hard. You just need to take the initiative. If you really want it, you will take the time to do it. You will take the time to do it. And then you will start seeing the benefits. All these people don't tell you these things. I'm just tired of the talking about goat and how to trim hoof and how to do this and how to that. Let's talk about business. Let's talk about turning a goat operation into business. This is important information. And we'll talk about this as often as our community and family here want to talk about it. And we will find the people them that will give us vital information to help us get it done. We will find them and bring them on, just like how we've done before. So I hope Courtney Sinclair, I hope that helps. Any other questions before I call it a night? Him trying to say he don't want to be operating as GG Farm for a year to just find out that Mr. Any walk in company's office and register GG Farms. True. If you have the idea, if you have a name, we'll secure it. And when you do it, they'll give you options. They'll tell you, say, boy, that one sound like somebody else thinking you want to try XYZ that's in the same vein. Okay, so if there's no other questions, I guess I will call it a night. And I will bid you guys farewell. And thank you guys for participating. Thank you guys for coming. Thanks everyone, Mr. Henry, Oret, Mr. McCook, everybody that participated, Natty from Chelsea Best Farm, Lincoln come in. I don't know if he's still there, but he come and participate. Julie, Courtney, I'm just naming the people them. Dean, everybody that participate. I appreciate you guys being here. One love. God bless you all. And we'll see you all next week. And we will continue to bring you guys information that will help you. All right? Once in a while, me talk some pasa things, but it will still help you. But we'll try to focus on things that help. All right? So until then, take care of yourself. One love. And we're out.